Hello everyone, welcome to today's video on Math PSLE 2021 Paper 2. I'm going to share with you on the suggested solutions, question 6, 7 and 8. This is the exam smart strategy that I am adopting. And these are the 3 questions that we are going to tackle today. Let's go on to question 6. A florist sold flowers from 8 to 4 p.m. last Sunday. Right? It's stated as a 24-hour clock. So in 12-hour clock reading system, it is from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. last Sunday. So it's represented using a line graph, and we have a very important information. The total number of flowers sold from 8 a.m. is as shown. So 8 a.m. is the starting time. So when the shop is just opened. All right. So 8 a.m. no flower is sold. Right. So I will write a 0 here. At 9 o'clock, 0900 means 9 o'clock. 20 flowers were sold. Right. So if you look at the line graph, from the range is from 0 to 25 to 50 to 75 to 100. So it's actually reading using the 5 times table, multiples of 5. Right, so it's skip counting by 5. So that's why 20 is on the 4th unit mark. So 4 times 5, that is 20. That's the 9 o'clock position. All right, at 10 o'clock, it is 40. At 11, 45. At 12, 50. Let me write the 45 clearly. At 1 o'clock, 65. At 2 o'clock, 70. At 3, still 70. And at 4, 80. Right, so reading line graph should not be an issue. Okay, let's move on to question A. Now, question A is asking us, at what time? So we have to know a specific time. At what time had the florist sold half of the total? Half of the total sold that day. So that day, that means it ends at 4 p.m. That's 1600 hours. So at 4 p.m., 80 were sold, and half of 80 is 40. Alright, so which time slot shows 40 flowers sold? Answer definitely it is at 10 o'clock. So part A is done at 10 o'clock. Let's move on to part B. I'm going to do it here. So part B. During which 1 hour interval was there no flowers sold? Now, interval is an important clue here. Interval means it's between 2 timings. Okay, so between what and what? There's no increase, no flowers sold. Alright, so if you look carefully, the only duration, the only interval has to be 1400 and 1500. So it's actually 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. At 2 p.m., 70 flowers sold. At 3 p.m., it is still 70. So it is a horizontal line. So no flowers sold between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. Next, let's move on to question C. What was the average number of flowers sold per hour from 1100 to 400? That means we are looking at this to this, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. So to find the average, so simple. We need to know the total. Now from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., we want to find the sold, what was sold. So be careful, it is not a total of 6 hours. It's actually based on the intervals. So from 11 to 12, that's the first hour. 12 to 1 o'clock, the next hour. 1 to 2, the third hour. 2 to 3, the fourth hour. And 3 to 4, the fifth hour. So in actual fact, in a total of 5 hours, right, there should be how many sold, how many flowers are sold. Okay, so what we need to do is to find out at 4 o'clock, right? At 4 o'clock, which is 1600, we know that there are 80 flowers sold. At 11 o'clock, we know that there are 45 flowers sold. So the difference over here will tell us the total number of flowers sold from 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. So let's take 80, subtract 45, that gives us 35. And 35 is the total number of flowers sold. So I put the total. And remember, this total is for 5 hours interval. So to find the average, we just take the total divided by 5. That gives us 7. And 7 is the answer for part C. Question 6 is done. Question 7 is a geometry question. Alright, so we are given a rhombus. We are also given an equilateral. So let's plug in all the values that we know, all the clues, all the properties that we know. So for a rhombus, we know that there are 4 equal sides. So I'm going to mark the 4 equal sides. Okay, the other one is here. Then for equilateral, I'm also going to mark it. So equilateral means all the internal angles are 60. Okay, and we all know for a rhombus, internal opposite angles must be the same. So this must be 102. Okay, now if you look carefully, if you look very, very carefully at point D, at vertex D, at this point, vertex D, we have already gotten 2 angles, meaning we can find what is this. We can find angle CDH. So angle CDH is at a point. Alright, so we just take the sum, which is 360 degrees, subtract 102, subtract 155, and angle CDH is actually found, is 103. So I shall plug in 103 into my diagram. Okay, now from here, we can also make use of the property sum of angles on a straight line. This straight line is line DGH. So we have 96 on the line DGH. We also have 60 degrees on line DGH, meaning we can find this angle DGE. So angle DGE is easily found by using the property sum of angles on a straight line. So 180 degrees subtract 60 degrees, subtract 96 degrees. Using our calculator, we have already obtained 24 degrees. Okay, I shall plug in 24 degrees here as neatly as we can. Now, once we know 24 degrees and 103 degrees, these two angles are actually inside the triangle. Okay, I shall going to highlight it using green. It's inside this triangle. Yeah. Okay, because there's no marking here, there's no angle here, so we can't name it. All right, so it's inside the triangle. Now our aim is to get towards angle Y. Now angle Y has the following angles. I'm going to use this highlighting. This is angle Y is inside this red triangle here. Now do you notice that the red triangle and the green triangle, there is an angle that's vertically opposite to each other. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna re-sketch that green and red triangle as large as I can over here. So it is, imagine this is the one, this is the red one, and this is the green one. Okay, right? So these two angles are vertically opposite to each other. Okay, and we know this is 60. We know this is angle Y, which is we need to find. Okay, we also know that this is what we have found, 103. And we also know this we have already found. This is our 24. So we can find the vertically opposite angle, these two that I'm pointing at now. Okay, so let's find one of them, this one. Once we know this, we have already found this. So using the sum of angles in a triangle. So 180 degrees, subtract 103, subtract 24. So when we take 180 degrees, subtract 103 degrees, subtract 24 degrees, we have 53 degrees. And this 53 degrees is inside the important triangle, meaning angle Y is found. So angle Y is equals to 180 degrees minus 60 degrees minus 53 degrees. And the answer is 67 degrees. Okay, angle Y is found using the property sum of angles in a triangle. Question 7 is done. Question 8 is on a percentage question, right? Now, if you have been following my videos, my past videos, I always use line graph to talk about percentage questions. Okay, so since number 8 is about discounts, and I have two special line graph. Okay, so the line graph for fan, the first fan, looks like this, coming down. And the line graph for the second fan looks like this also, because it is a discount. So let's plug in the discount. Now, the second fan offers 70% discount. So the original discount is 100%. After 70% discount, it should be 30% here, the discounted price. Okay, let's do the same thing for the first fan. The original is 100%, offered 55%, and that gives us 45% after discount. Now, I strongly recommend, okay, the use of percentage to be converted to a fraction, because fraction, we can use fraction to do it. Percentage is actually can be done, but I always recommend the use of fractions instead of percentage. So I'm going to convert the 55% and the 10% into a fraction. Okay, so let me do 55% first. Now 55% in fraction, if you use a calculator, it is 11 out of 20. Then 70%, if you use a calculator, is 7 out of 10. Now take note, the two fans, they are of the same model. Same model means they should have the same original price. They should have the same 100%. But if you look at these two percentages and their respective fractions, they don't have the same denominators. they must have the same denominator. So I shall change this one, 7/10 to its equivalent, which is 14 out of 20. Now, I'm very happy to see the 11 here and the 14 here. Now, the first fraction, 11 out of 20, the 11 units is the discount for the first fan. So this is equivalent to 11 units, and this is definitely our 20 units. Okay, so let's do the same thing for the second fan. This is our 20 units, and this is our 14 units. Now, once we have these two information, okay, once we have these two information, we can do a lot of things. Okay, now the information we know is here. Xing Yi paid $127.50 for them. That means she paid them after discounts. First fan and second fan after their discounts. Now, first fan offered 11 units of discount, and the second fan offered 14 units of discount. So Xing Yi actually paid how many units for the first fan, which is the 45%. So 45% is actually 9 units. And the 30% is actually 7 units. So I'm going to use this and this to connect it to the $127.50. Xing Yi paid 9 units for the first fan and 7 units for the second fan. Xing Yi paid a total of, pardon me, this is not 7. This in fact is 6 units. Okay, right, so this is 6 units. Okay, so let me rewrite this part. Okay, so this is 9 units. Xing Yi paid 9 units for the first fan and 6 units for the second fan. That means Xing Yi in total paid 15 units for the 2 fans. And definitely 15 units has to be $127.50. So let's find what is 1 unit. It's $127.50 divided by 15, and that gives us $8.50. Now, what was the original price of the fan? That means before discount, which is our 20 units. So 20 units will be 20 multiplied by 850, and our part A is done. $170. Okay, right, remember to play back my video if you want to have a better understanding. Okay, right, let's move on to part B. Now we have another character, Nick. Nick also bought the 2 fans, right? But he bought them without any discount. He bought them without any discount, before discount. All right, so maybe before the Great Singapore Sale. That means Nick paid 20. Okay, let me change the color. Nick paid, this is Nick. Nick paid 20 units for the first fan and 20 units for the second fan. So Nick paid a total of 40 units. All right, and then for Xing Yi paid 9 units for the first fan, all right, and 6 units for the second fan. So Xing Yi paid 15 units. So there is a difference. So what's the difference? The difference between them is 40 units minus 15 units. That gives us our 25 units. So what is this 25 units? How much money is that? What's the sum of money? So same thing, 25 units will be 25 times this value, which is we have found a long time ago. So times 850, and that gives us $212.50. So we found the answer for part B. Nick paid $212.50 more than Xing Yi. Question 8 is done. Now, I hope you find question 6, 7, and 8 clear, right? Feel free to review feel free to watch this part 2 video again. Now, in the coming videos, I'm going to talk about question 11 and 12 in part 4. All right. Remember to like my video. All right, if you find that it's super useful and you understood what I have shared with you, feel free to share with other people. All right, friends, anybody. Okay, and don't forget to subscribe, because when you subscribe, you will be informed of my other videos to be uploaded or have been uploaded. Thank you for watching. See you again. Stay safe and goodbye. Take care.